this is a unique situation for me because basically what I'm gonna create, what this video is an episode of a new creation, a new dial, which is gonna be a sewer, and it also just happens to be that I'm creating this specifically for the ACBA tournament. So the process, you guys are gonna go through the process. I mean, right now I'll tell you exactly. It doesn't matter because I think this video, I guess this is where it makes it unique, because I don't want to release this video before I release my entry into the ACBA tournament, you know, that's gonna feature this. So basically my idea real quick is that I'm gonna take Pitt, and he's gonna, this is kind of the rough idea, it may change, but these are the characters involved. So Pitt from Image Comics is basically gonna be going after Ripclaw, right? And it's kind of dark, so you can't see. Adi, can you turn the light on the back there on the wall?
Okay.
So that's some light. So basically, Ripclaw, and I need to paint that. That kind of got scuffed. But Ripclaw is gonna be trying to escape through the manhole cover as Pitt is gonna be approaching him from underneath. So this dial is gonna go on top of that dial over there. So that's the plan. I don't know how it's gonna look once I put it all together. Then I'm gonna have Stryker, that's on the same team as Ripclaw, Cyberforce, shooting down at Pitt, and the effects are gonna be kind of the bullets bouncing off of Pitt, that type of thing, with cutouts in the whole nine. So that's I guess that's why this is kind of unique, because as I'm gonna go through this process, eventually I'm gonna post this video. But it'll be after I post my entry. So after I post my entry, you'll get a background of building of this dial. And you've just gotten my rough idea. But again, that may change. I'm not sure. That's where I'm at right now. So this is phase one. This is actually 2-inch. Just one piece of 2-inch foam board that I had left. So it was perfect because I had a 24 by 24 inch. So that's basically those two. The side walls and the back wall kind of made that up, and I had a couple scrap pieces left. So that is where I'm at right now. Real quick, want to just share a quick and interesting story about this figure right here, which is one of the best Build-A-Figures that Toy Biz ever released. I was actually just telling my daughter about this. It was years ago. She was actually a toddler, and you probably were. And we used to go to North Conway every summer, like vacation for 4 days, 5 days, or whatever. So one summer, and we would go to the outlets. They had outlets. So one summer we went to KB, and KB, the outlet was closing, as were the stores. I don't know if you guys remember KB Toys, but they always had overpriced action figures, pretty much. I never went there unless there were sales. This particular day, they had the Build-A-Figure Legendary Heroes, I think that's what it's called, which included Ripclaw that I just showed, and it included Witchblade and Judge Dredd, Madman, somebody else. So anyway, you would get these, I think it was 6 of them or something like that. So you get them and you build Pitt. So the great thing about it that day was that the figures were on sale. It was, first of all, it was going out of business. So it was buy one, get one free, equal or lesser value. And so the figures, I want to say they were like $8.99 or $9.99 or something like that. It was like $8 or $9. And so I would buy one and get one free. So I think what ended up happening is I got all 6 of them. They had them, and I ended up paying, I want to say, let's just say $9 for the sake of argument. Less than $75, which was great, because this now is going on eBay for about $150, $175. So I think it was 8. I want to say it was 8. I think it was like less than $50. It was $48. I'm pretty sure it was like $48, and there was no tax over this. So it was like 48 and some change or something like that. But anyway, it was under $50, under $60. So that's the story of how this Pitt came to life, man. And at that point, I've always collected, and so I always went to that KB. So at that point, I was just getting action figures and just storing them away. There was no ACBA back then. There was just, I would just get them and I'd box them and put them in a box, and they would go to storage, the basement, whatever. So, yeah, man, that's the story of this Pitt. All right, man. So, segment 2, we'll have a rough idea of what this sewer is going to look like. All right, y'all. Peace. All right, so I have progressed a little bit in this underground sewer dial. So, you know, brick walls, keep it consistent with the piece that's going to go above it. So it'll have kind of, you know, that consistency in terms of the bricks. I still have to do a little bit of work on the bricks in terms of just denting it up and squeezing some of those and giving a little bit of personality. But I finished this up as well. Definitely like the way this came out. Finished kind of the cinder blocks, cinder blocks type of deal. Have to try to make it look more like blocks than or more like stones, but so I try to round out the stones a little bit. Let's see how it comes out once it gets painted. I still haven't glued this on as with the last style that I created. It makes more sense to black wash or you know, kind of primer that and that separate, paint it and everything, and just wait till the very end. It'll save me time in terms of trying to be neat on the paint, and it'll look really good as I can go lower with the red, the brick red, and just boom, and it'll be a nice real clean line. The water, you know, interestingly enough, a lot of times when I start creating a diorama, things just happen that I didn't expect that were gonna work out that way. In this case, I definitely wanted to put some sort of water somehow. So because it is a 2-inch, this was just a random piece I had left, and made it the base. It fit the size that I needed. So because it is a 2-inch piece of foam, I can be able to, you know, cut out 1 inch. So this dips in. It still has that 1 inch underneath it, and then this water will dip in a little bit. And again, I don't know. I guess I just have this here. I may end up using this piece of styrene. Obviously, it's not long enough. This is just the one piece that I bought that came. But what I'm thinking about doing is putting a bridge. So if you're here, you need to twist that. You can walk over that bridge. And if I do that, then I can split this in half, and it should work out. And I'd have to paint this too, just to make it so it doesn't look so blue, because it wouldn't make sense for it to be so, you know, kind of that crystal blue in a sewer. So airbrush it, or maybe underneath a certain color to change this up a little bit. Yeah, so this is where I'm at. Was trying to get fancy with the floor. My homie Aaron just hooked up a real cool D12 dial, like a Red Skull type of deal, and the floor he used, you know, the floor he created was off the hook. And I was gonna grab a pattern off the internet to do something, but I said, let me see if I can get a little creative. So I'll tweak it a little bit, and this won't be as smooth. And this, by the way, is gonna be gray, definitely gray, and this is gonna be brick red. It's gonna be a lighter gray, and that's gonna be a dark gray. So again, going with those colors that kind of pop off of each other. Alright, so this is where I'm at so far in the process. This is also gonna be cut up to make it look like it's just kind of those same cinder blocks, but just here. So by the next segment, we should have a lot more done. I always say I'm going to do something, come back, and it's completely something different. So this time I'll just say, by the time we come back, it'll just be a lot more will be done. Peace. All right, so I have progressed to the point of painting most of it and creating the water. Honestly, man, I don't even know how this looks. I think it looks okay. Obviously, I still have to airbrush it and do a couple other things that's going to make it look a little murkier, but it's all right. It's all right. Have to finish this up. You know, when I kind of finished this wall, this piece had not been cut out, so that's exposed. So I just have to, you know, kind of create some of these blocks down here, but it's not going to matter much, because what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take the hot glue gun. First I'm going to wrap this in what is that called, that paper? Do I even have any around? No. the wax paper type deal, or parchment paper. I think it's parchment paper. So I'm gonna wrap this real tight in parchment paper, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the with the glue gun. I'm just gonna kind of make the waterfall. And the reason for the parchment paper, and the reason I don't want to glue, use the glue gun permanently on this, is because I just have a feeling it's just gonna pop off, and if it does, it's gonna take the paint off, and I'm gonna have to kind of start all over. So what I'm gonna do is use it more as a piece that you can put on and off. So it'll be a removable, kind of piece. So I gotta work on that. I wanted to make this a little wider. At the end, it wasn't as wide, or I didn't measure correctly. I just think that this is a little, this is a little too close to the wall. And if I was to push this out a little bit off the wall, it's overlapping here a little bit. So I miscalculated a little bit, and it was too late. But right now it's not, in the light of it's not super bad. There's still some clearance, a little bit of clearance. It's gonna fall into the background pictures anyway for the most part. I can't imagine seeing or creating or taking a picture where one of the action figures is I don't know, opening that valve up. What else? Yeah, so the other thing too, because of the shot I want to take, I'm actually gonna have to redo this or create a secondary one. So this one, is magnetized, and then what I want to do is create a second one, but that one's it's gonna be all torn up because Pitt is gonna be walking through here. He's gonna bump into this with his shoulders. It's gonna flip off some of the bricks. So that's gonna be part of the exhibit, or not the exhibit, but part of my entry into the tournament. The look of the kind of the bricks. So I have to work on that. It is August 7th. I've actually had to let this dry. When I first put it on, I didn't go with the crystal clear because I didn't have a caulking gun, and a caulking gun is like $15, and I didn't feel like spending $15 and then whatever, $4 or $5 for the tube. I didn't want to invest $20, so instead I got something that was a little different, and I forgot the name of it, but it only cost about $4 total. When I first put it on, most of it was this like that. It was mostly white, and I was like, oh man, I really hope it dries clear, and it actually did. So it ended up working out okay, and I actually made like a little bridge to go from here to here. Doesn't look that great. I might go back to the drawing board with that one. But yeah, man, this is where we are at. Again, August 7th. The ACBA entry is due August 24th. I still have, man, let me see, man, I'm at maybe 80%, I would say 75-80% done with this. Seeing that I have to kind of redo this sets me back a little bit. I have to finish this little water section up, airbrush it. And then I got spray painted a bunch of these, so I have to put some piping up there as well, and something coming off of this and going up and something. So I have to figure that part out still. So a few more steps. All right, y'all. Peace. So I have no idea if this is gonna work, but I did want to record it just in case it did work. So what I did is I laid out some parchment paper here and here. I got 2 glue guns ready to go, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start kind of building. I don't want to call it a waterfall because it's not a waterfall, but the effect of the water coming from this level and falling into into a level that's a little bit lower. So part of the reason I don't want to make it permanent, so in other words, if the parchment paper is not there and I start putting glue from the glue gun on here, then it kind of becomes a permanent thing. I say permanent because in reality it's not going to be permanent, because once I start putting this away, eventually that will rip off of this, take the color with it, and I kind of got to start over, like I said in the last segment, and I don't want to start all over again with this. So I figured that if I do the parchment paper, and what I found with parchment paper and glue gun is that it comes right off. So I'll build, I'll build it that way, kind of let it dry, and then so it'll be kind of just like a piece that I can put on every time I put this dial together. So wanted to give you guys an idea of how I did it. So pretty much I just laid this on here just because it's going to go a little bit onto this side, and then this is taped in the back and kind of around the bottom here so that it gives it a nice edge, and it'll be it'll be kind of an exact casting, if if I may. So anyway, just wanted to record this real quick. If it works, you'll see the result. And if it didn't work, you won't even see the segment. Peace. Alright, so a little more progress on this. And yeah, man, it worked. It worked. There goes Captain. Just wanted to have him for scale real quick. But basically this is what ended up happening with the glue gun, the creation of that water trickling down from the tunnel. I was able to put parchment paper and I kind of wrapped it real tight around here, taped it on the back, and just kind of laid it here as flat as possible. And I just started, this is probably 4 or 5 pieces of glue or glue sticks. So I started actually started with the regular one, which is a little bit more high temp, and the high temp just kind of melted on there. And then I went back with the low temp and was able to get these designs and kind of the texture there of the water. So yeah, put down the piping today, actually just a couple of minutes ago, and pretty happy with that. You can see the kind of the glue up top, but that's okay because a lot of the shots are going to be taken at an angle where you're not going to be able to see that. And I'll also cover a little bit with the airbrush at the end. Came back and painted that little corner yellow. Just a quick tip. What I've noticed with yellow, as I've painted some of my diorama pieces have been yellow, or I've used yellow. Yellow looks better when you go directly onto the pink. So 2 coats of yellow on pink, you're good. You don't have to do it black. So what I did here is it wasn't like it was all black, then I went back with the yellow, because the yellow won't come out as bright as if you use it by yourself. And this yellow is actually a pretty good acrylic yellow. It's not a cheapie. And so even with that, it wouldn't go over the black on another project I was working on. And with this, I decided to just do yellow straight to pink, and it worked out perfectly. So just a quick tip. Yellow does not show up, does not look good when there's black underneath it. These are the straws, zip ties. I'm gonna see if I can do something about this, because you can kind of see that, that it's 2 straws. But again, in most of the shots, this won't come out, but I'll see if I can do a little something there. Yeah, so just wanted to show a quick progress. Tomorrow, I think when I go to work, I'm gonna bring a piece with me so I can create this, but the broken up one. So I'll do that tomorrow, and hopefully this will be ready for airbrushing by the weekend. It's Friday now, so hopefully by I guess Monday, because Monday is the day where nobody will be around, and I just don't like spraying that around the kids. Yeah, so this is where we're at. Alright, y'all, peace. And here is the finished product. It's a wrap. I'm done. Woo! Real quick, we'll go over the stats. I've done it throughout the process, but we're looking at 22 inches across. It is 11 inches deep, 11 inches tall. The piping is just straws, sanded down, spray painted, and that hammered Rust-Oleum paint, and secured by zip ties. And again, I've said it before, I like to secure things to walls just because they're collapsible and they do end up being stacked on top of each other. This wall is, all stuff that's already been in the beginning of the video, but it's project foam board. You got to peel the paper off, which is a pain in the ass. I think the sewer water came out pretty cool. Again, it's that indoor-outdoor sealant. Took about 7 days to dry. Underneath was just some custom green paint. I airbrushed it with some green highlights and some black, some darkness as well. Painted that back there as well, airbrushed it green, and then came back with a white dry brush to kind of give the feel of when, anytime water hits water, you're going to bubble up a little bit. This was from DC Figures Aqualad. I believe it was Aqualad that I got like a year and a half ago on sale. It was like $5, and I just loved the way this looked. So I grabbed it and never thought I'd do a sewer dive. I think I was, I've said this a couple times, just intimidated by trying to work on the water. I had seen so many people attempt to get that fake water. You can get like a Hobby Lobby or what have you, and it was a lot of, didn't seem like it was a fun project. But because of the ACBA tournament and what I had in mind and the dial that's going to go above this, I had to create this. I'm not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, so I didn't create this for, I think I have like one TMNT action figure. Yeah, I guess when Power Rangers too. When the Turtles and Power Rangers were reigning supreme, I was raising a son. So I wasn't even looking at, I really wasn't messing with action figures or cartoons for those couple of years when they were big. I actually remember potty training my son and bribing him with Power Rangers, which is pretty funny. Just some random cement type bricks. What else, man? I think I've kind of touched on everything. I did create, so this is, the piece that I'll have for the most part, but for this display, I did create a second one just because, and I got to magnetize it. That's the only thing it isn't magnetized yet. But, yeah, so basically Pit's going to be coming through that door, and he's chasing someone, so, I didn't, he's not necessarily trying to destroy the archway, the doorway there, but he's so big that his shoulders just kind of touched up on him, and so that they came loose. The bricks came loose. So there'll be some, for that display, there'll be some bricks, on the floor and coming off a Pit. Yeah, so this was just, just kind of cut it out. And then just kind of glued it into place at the angle that I was looking for. And those extra bricks that you see hanging out, those are all kind of be on the floor or falling off of a Pit. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I've covered everything in the first bunch of segments. Obviously, feel free. Yeah. Did the green to make the walls look kind of mossy as sewer walls or was wet. I wanted to do more here, but it's not, at the end it's not even gonna matter because of the style of the picture. I may go back to this, but I definitely wanted to get this done as we're getting close to the deadline of the ACBA tourney, which is the 24th. Today is the 11th. So the next step is making sure I have my cutouts on point. I already know I have the idea of what I want to do, but it was important for me to finish this style over the weekend, and I did that. Alright, y'all. Hope you like. Any questions? Drop them in the comments. Peace.